Hey guys, welcome to Wrestling Days and welcome to this slightly different video. I've been thinking a lot about Daniel Bryan. Obviously fantastically exciting that he is back as a full-time performer. And it got me thinking, how would I book Daniel Bryan going forward? Because I think we all want to see him become WWE Champion or Universal Champion. But equally, I don't want him to just get the title. I want to see him work for it. I want to see a few obstacles in his way. And also, what title should he go for? Who should he beat to get that title? Where should he beat them? So, yeah, I've been thinking about this and just wanted to kind of throw a few ideas out, start a bit of a conversation with you guys and get your thoughts in the comments below. For me, I think that he needs to enter into a triple threat match with AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura for the WWE Championship. Now, he can't win that, because he can't become WWE Champion that easy. I don't mind if AJ retains or if Shinsuke becomes the new WWE Champion. Probably best if AJ retains, and maybe AJ even gets the pin on Daniel. I've got no problem with any of that. But yeah, I don't want to see Daniel Bryan get the title this early. For me, it's all about The Miz. Now, The Miz is the perfect opponent for Daniel Bryan. Obviously, they've had very fiery encounters in the past, and this really goes all the way back to when Daniel first came into the WWE. He came in through NXT. I believe it was the first season of NXT. And back then, NXT was very different. It wasn't a weekly TV show like you see now where people compete in matches. Back then, it was students and teachers, or mentors, as they were called. And Daniel was actually partnered with The Miz. The Miz was Daniel Bryan's mentor. So it's kind of crazy that these two have got a history that goes back that far. I believe when Daniel won the United States Championship, it was The Miz that he defeated for that title. Also, I can remember at SummerSlam, it was Team WWE taking on the Nexus, and The Miz had been teasing that, was he going to be involved with Team WWE? Was he not going to be involved? And it got to the actual pay-per-view, and The Miz came out, is like, come on then, I'll help you out. But Team WWE had moved on. They're like, we don't need your help now. You messed us around. Our partner is Daniel Bryan. This goes all the way back. You're going back to 2010, 2011 here. So you're going back a long, long way. There's a real rich history there. And obviously more recently, Talking Smack and the interaction that these two had on Talking Smack. It needs a payoff. So for me, I would want to see this build to a championship match at WrestleMania between Daniel Bryan and The Miz. And there needs to be a lot of obstacles that are put in Daniel Bryan's way before we get there. I would like to see Kane be an obstacle. Obviously, they were in a tag team together. Team Hell No. Dr. Shelby. All of that kind of stuff. The anger management courses. They could play on a bit of that. Bring a bit of comedy in, because they were very funny segments. But yeah, I do think that Kane should be an opponent of Daniel Bryan's as he works towards facing The Miz. What you could do is have Brock Lesnar versus Daniel Bryan for the Universal Championship. And it could be a case that Daniel has got the upper hand and The Miz comes down and costs Daniel Bryan the victory. I'm not sure how you get the title on The Miz. Could be that Lesnar drops it to Roman and then The Miz gets it off Roman. That will set us up quite nicely. You need to build The Miz as well as, this character that will do anything to win matches. Like we saw him recently lose at WrestleMania 34, and that's because he didn't want the Miztourage at ringside. I think he needs to not worry about stuff like that. He needs to win matches any way he can. And he needs to be, you know, more scheming and evil than ever before. And you need to build him up and have him go on this undefeated streak so that it really puts him in a position of power for when we do finally get the payoff, which is Daniel Bryan against The Miz. I would add some extra spice to this by bringing in the kids. Now, obviously, Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella have just had a child, Birdie, I believe. And obviously, The Miz and Maryse have just had a child called Monroe Sky. So, it's been high profile that both of those couples have just had children. So, I would bring them into the storyline, not the actual children, not the real children, right? This is where, though, we need some behind-the-scenes work. Like, you could have The Miz starting to get concerned that Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella are not good parents. And so you could have The Miz kind of going over to Daniel Bryan's house, trying to steal the kid, trying to steal Birdie. He thinks to protect her, because he is absolutely sure that vegan parents or Daniel Bryan as a father just doesn't meet the standard. Daniel Bryan is not as good a father as The Miz, and The Miz is concerned. And so you could really bring in the family side of things and really ramp up the emotion. Maryse could get involved as well. She could attack Brie Bella, and you could have more backstage segments where, you know, there's real tension and it becomes bigger. I think that's the important thing here. It becomes bigger than Daniel Bryan versus The Miz. It has to be about the families. You've got to get Brie Bella involved. You've got to get Maryse involved. Monroe Sky needs to be referenced. Birdie needs to be referenced. And this thing could be huge. They could build this over the next year, and it could honestly be WrestleMania main event worthy, because that for me is the only place the payoff can be. You can't do this on a B show. It has to be on the grandest stage of them all. Over the next year as well, I'd have Daniel tease a lot of head injuries. So every time he's taken a blow in a high-profile match, he needs to collapse, grab hold of his head. Is this the end? Is this it? Is his return over? Can he fight through the pain? You could even have it so that he, you know, the referee calls off a match. You could have that as a finish where the ref calls off a match and Daniel then has to get checked by the doctors and it doesn't look like he's going to make it. But again, you know, he fights through, finds a way. They need to put obstacles in Daniel Bryan's way and not just give him the title. The other thing I wanted to talk about, and some of you might disagree with this, but that's fine. I just think this would be a really nice touch, a really nice way to finish this whole program, would be to have Daniel against The Miz, and The Miz be the equal to everything that Daniel was throwing at him. Daniel just can't find a way of putting The Miz away. He's tried everything. There's been interferences. Maryse has been down. Brie has had to deal with her. It's, you know, everything built up to this fantastic crescendo. And the ending is Daniel just looking down, seeing his Connor's Cure wristband and hitting The Miz with one last flying knee. I just think that would just round everything off. I mean, Connor was such a big part of Daniel's kind of career. You know, he was there at the end when Daniel obviously won the titles at WrestleMania. The first thing he did was went over to Connor, and obviously Connor has sadly passed since then. But, you know, some really great stuff has come out of his legacy, and he's so strongly connected to Daniel Bryan because Daniel Bryan was his favourite superstar. And Connor's Cure is still such this big thing that I just think that would be a really nice moment. And that would be what would put The Miz away, that extra, you know, I'm doing this for Connor. And I just think there's a lot of emotion there, and I just think that there's something really interesting they could build around Daniel Bryan versus The Miz, and it would need a year to build. Like, they could do this at the next WrestleMania. You don't want to leave it too long because you never know what's going to happen with Daniel. Obviously, he's been out for 3 years, and we're all keeping our fingers crossed that this run is going to be successful. It's going to be long-lasting. He's going to be healthy, but you just don't know. So I really would pull the trigger sooner rather than later. Let's do this. WrestleMania 35. I don't mind if it's for the WWE Championship or the Universal Championship, but it does need to be one of those titles. For me, this wouldn't work as well if the prize was the United States Championship or even, dare I say, the Intercontinental, because I just don't feel that those belts represent the scale and the size of this story that has been building really since 2010, since 2011, since NXT. This would be the ultimate payoff to that. So yeah, I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed some of these ideas, let me know. If not, that's cool as well. I understand this is just my kind of thoughts on what I would do with Daniel, and I'm really into those kind of backstage segments and the house segments and something really different and bringing the families in. So yeah, let me know your thoughts. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like, hit the subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you again next time. Bye for now.